Good evening. Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, Ashley Live, and tonight is episode 166. My guest this evening is powerhouse singer-songwriter Blair Perkins from Los Angeles. So from a very young age, Blair was inspired by Michael Jackson and Usher. In 2018, he was featured on season 1 of The Four. And in September, Blair dropped his debut album. It's amazing. If you haven't heard it, you guys need to stream it after this interview gets done. Blair is in the house, and Blair is coming in to talk all about his album. We're going to go song by song, and we're going to get to know Blair a little bit more, and he's going to perform for us. So Blair, whenever you're ready, come on in. Hey guys, how we doing this evening? Hello, hello. Hi guys, how we doing? Hey Blair.
Hey, what's going on?
Not too much. How's your day going?
My day is going good. A little busy, but busy is good. I'd rather busy than not be busy, so.
Right? I know. I think busy is good because then your days fly by and you feel like you're productive. You know what I mean?
I love feeling productive. That's my favorite thing.
Exactly. So people who maybe aren't productive, what advice do you have for them?
You know what? So what I did during the pandemic is I got this whiteboard, and basically I broke down like my months and my weeks. So I have my monthly goals, and then I have my weekly goals to live up to the monthly goals. And that kind of keeps me, it's been helping me. It's right there. You can't see it, but
Yeah.
it helps me, stay productive and stay on the course of what I'm trying to do. So
Yeah. Now, do you feel that writing things down and like crossing things off or like erasing things like is better for you to stay productive?
for me, yeah, absolutely. Because it just, you get tired of seeing the same stuff on there and you're like, dang, I want something new. So the faster you get it done, the easier you can erase it and move on to the next thing. So that's what I like to do.
I love that because it's kind of like it's always in your face and you're like, yeah, I don't want to look at that anymore. Like now we have new goals we need to do.
Right, exactly.
Love it. So Blair, I'm so excited to chat with you. This album is incredible. Like when I heard it, I was like, Blair, you need to come on this show and talk about your album.
Thank you. I'm so excited that you reached out because I haven't been doing a lot of press, but I want more people to know about the album, and every little bit counts. So I definitely wanted to come on and share a little bit about the process and everything, and just get the album in more ears.
Yeah, I think it's so important, and it's such a beautiful body of work. It's soulful, it's R&B. It brings me back to the 90s when R&B was just amazing.
Exactly. And that's one thing that I really, really wanted to do. I've been doing this for a long time, and I've always wanted to keep the integrity of what it is that I love and the music that I grew up listening to, which I was born in the 90s. So I grew up on all that great music in the early 2000s as well. So I kind of wanted to take all that I've learned and studied and then merge it with current sounds and current vibes and just trying to bridge the gap between the two.
Definitely. So I want to talk about the very beginning of your life, during your childhood when music came into your life. So bring us back to that time. What made you gravitate towards music at such a young age?
Michael Jackson, obviously. I used to study his tapes and watch like his performances all the time. Even like my aunts, they would record, back in the VHS days, they would record him whenever he was performing and just give me the tape, and I would just repeat it over. And just anything with music I loved. I think the first song that I learned was the Fugees' Killing Me Softly.
Yeah.
And then like Nas and Lauryn Hill, that type of vibe. So that's like my origin. So that's why, like, in my album, you hear that, you know, I give you the plush, soft vocals and, you know, the harmonies and stuff, but I always want that hard beat behind it. So that's where that comes from. And then as a performer, obviously watching Michael Jackson and eventually Usher and then the Chris Browns and everybody who came after. And I just want to follow up to that. So that's how I started. So, yeah.
And I love that you studied Michael Jackson on VHSs, because some people do not know what a VHS is. It's a tape that you used to put in and you used
Right.
to rewind it.
And you have to sit through the rewinding as well. You can't just click it and it's just there. Like, it was a whole process.
It was a whole process, and I'm so happy we don't have VHSs anymore. But I think having Michael Jackson in your life at such an early age, I remember when I was young, and he was just like a god to me. Like, I used to see him in concert on these well, I never saw him live in concert, but like these tapings and like little snippets, right? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, people are infatuated with him. The way he moves, the way he sings, what he talks about, just like he was untouchable, right?
And he just has a presence, because even now, like, my little siblings and everybody else, they're obsessed with Michael Jackson. Like, kids that are like 4 years old, 6 years old, when they hear the music, they just get obsessed with Michael Jackson. And it's just a magic. And I feel like artists, we got to kind of get back to that, because, you know, a lot of it now is kind of like, you know, kind of fake in certain ways and situations a little bit. And, you know, you have to like put on this persona, and you're not naturally just giving your talent, and people are focusing more on like your personal life and what you're doing every day, and they're not necessarily focusing on the music. So I'm trying to, you know, massage back that type of vibe, so I can have that same type of impact, because that's what I want to do. I want to share my music, and I want people to really digest the art of the music.
Yeah, I think the artistry is so important. And even thinking back to Michael Jackson's music videos, they were a whole production.
Right. And that's that artistry that I'm talking about, when it's not just like, let me just make a quick video and just throw it out there. Like, he took time and detailed every aspect of his, you know, music, and that's exactly what I want to do. You know, I don't have quite the budget yet, but eventually I want to dive deeper. Even in the videos that I'm putting out, I'm very detailed with what I want and what I want to see on camera. And you know, eventually the budget will come to where I could do more and do more artistic things. So I look forward to it.
Yeah, very cool. So let's talk about artistry and marketing as a musician, because I definitely think in this day and age, it's so important to have a social presence, to look a certain way, to have, you know, reels and that kind of stuff. So why is that important to you in your artistry?
It's important to me because you have to be seen at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And no matter how much, like, a person like me, I'm not really like a huge social media person to where I'm on it 24/7, but this is the new way. This is the way people are, you know, promoting their music. This is the way people are promoting their products, whatever it is. And it's just like how it was back in the day with television. You know, when you had a product, you went on all these different television shows and you promoted, you promoted your project or whatever you're promoting. So it's the same thing. So it's very important to me because, you know, I want my music heard at the end of the day. So I'm gonna do better. I'm doing better this year than I've been, because I took like a few years off of social media because I was too busy like working on the actual music. So now that I'm back, I'm trying to be better and a little bit more active. And you guys can find me on Instagram. My YouTube is still up. I just joined TikTok, so I'm about to start seeing what that's about. Obviously Twitter and just all the above. And that link that you pinned, the blairperkins.com, that's a landing page, so that'll take you to wherever you need to find me.
Awesome. I love that you joined TikTok, because TikTok is for music. I kid you not. Like, even if you go on TikTok and you're just like, I'm going to sing one line of my song, I'm going to sing one line of an Usher song, like, it can literally 10 seconds and that's your content, and that's the cool thing about it.
Exactly, and it's quick and on the go. And for those of you guys that are on TikTok, my music is on TikTok, so you can add those sounds and
Yeah.
do a little TikTok dance to it.
Yeah, let's do like a TikTok challenge
Right.
where you dance and then other people dance and then we do duets. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I got to make it happen soon.
So the debut album came out in September, and we're gonna break down this album, but let's just talk about it as a whole. So I know you said it was what, 3 years in the making?
Yeah, I started it in May of 2018.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
walk us through the process and how you were writing and recording this album.
So, just quickly, I want to keep it short, but I started my online presence on YouTube, and I had done a lot of covers, and they were getting seen by a lot of, executives. So I went through that market of being with a major label and things, and I kind of seen how it was. I didn't really, like what I was going through per se, because it wasn't really the music that I wanted to do. I remember writing out lists of producers that I wanted to work with. I'm like, these are the upcoming producers that are going to be the hottest in R&B and hip hop. These are who I want to work with. And, obviously the labels, they already have a formula, and, they have artists like Chris Brown and Miguel, and they just kind of want to play it safe. They never want to go off the grid. And me being so young, I'm like, yo, I want live musicianship. Like I want like live horns in it. And I'm like, I'm telling you, this is going to be like a big thing. And I'm like, I want a live band on stage, because a lot of the artists that were in kind of the same vein of what I was doing, they weren't doing that.
Yeah.
And so, obviously the label told me no. Everything was no. You can't work with this person. You can't do this. This is too jazzy. This is too... Fast forward, Bruno Mars' 24 Karat Magic album kind of did not exactly what I wanted to do, but very in that same vein. That just goes to show you how the major labels, they don't really understand artistry nowadays. Yeah. They just understand numbers, and because I had the numbers, they were like, okay, sign them up. So fast forward, I ended up doing The Four, which was on Fox. And I did that, and I'm not really the person, I'm not speaking negatively on the show or anything, but I've never really been big on going that route. That was never what I envisioned for myself. I always wanted to be the artist who just dropped the music and just let the world hear it. I never wanted to be attached to like The Voice or the American Idol or The Four per se. So, but I did it. I got a call from Diddy. He wanted me to do it. I'm like, okay, when you get a call from Diddy, you're doing it. So I did that, and I had a great experience on the show. I'm really glad I did it, because it opened my eyes to like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that I love.
Right.
And just watching Diddy be a boss and do what he does basically every single day during the taping, it really inspired me, because I'm like, yo, he did this years ago, and he started his own company. He had his own artists. He didn't wait for anybody. And just being around him, his energy is very like, this is what we're doing. Yeah. This is how we're doing it. This is how I want it done. There's no questions asked. And I love that. I was like, ooh, like, I was inspired. So literally right after The Four, I said, you know what? I'm not going to beg these labels anymore to do what I want to do. I'm going to do exactly what it is that I want to do. I'm going to get a loan. I went to the bank and got a loan. I'm like, I'm going to hire the producers that I want to work with, and I'm going to write the songs that I want to sing, and I'm going to do this on my own. If they're not going to give me my roses, per se, I'm going to grow them on my own. So that's how my album came about. It's been a dream of mine my entire life. And like I said, I wanted to merge the gap between, old school art, all the classics. Like my album, how I like to describe it is, it's literally like pieces from each era, from the 60s, from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, all the way up until now. It's literally like a gumbo of all those things, put together all these different flavors and styles, and I just try to be as creative as I possibly could. So that's how this album came about.
Yes, there it is.
Yes.
And Blair, I just want to say thank you so much for your honesty when it comes to labels, because I think sometimes people have this dream, right, with their musician. They're like, I want to be on this label. I want this, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's great when you have that conversation, but then they're like, oh, you can't look this way. You can't sound this way. We want to mold you into this thing that we want you to be. And people tend to fall victim to it. So I'm so proud of you that you didn't let them tell you what to do. You're like, I'm going to walk my truth. Like, you're going to notice me. And I love that you took out a loan and you said that. Like, I think the music business side is so much more important, because people that get in the business, they sign contracts, they do all this stuff. Most people sign contracts and they don't even read them, right?
And I was literally going down that same road because I wanted it so bad, and all artists want it so bad. We're raised to think in our minds like our whole life is based off of getting a record deal.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you don't realize that a record deal is a loan.
Right.
It's the same exact thing. So why not in this time where we have social media platforms and YouTube and things that we didn't have before, why not just do it yourself? So that's exactly what I did. And I was at the level, I'm like, no, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing this. That's probably why I got dropped. But I was just like, I can no longer do my art for somebody else. So that's exactly how this album came about. And like I said, I was inspired by Diddy and how he works, his work ethic, and it just inspired me to do it on my own. And I'm really excited and happy that I did, because my vision is coming forth exactly how I envisioned it. So yeah.
And I'm so proud that you stuck to your guns and you said, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to work with these producers.
Yeah.
This is all me. Like, no one else can take credit for this and say, I told Blair to do this. Like, this is 100% you.
Yes. Everything down from the packaging, from the photo shoot, from the styling, from, you know, the music videos, the direction, everything that you guys see online is all done by me. I have no team. I am the team. And
Yeah.
I'm making it happen little by little as I can. Eventually, I'm going to get a bigger team, and you know, I could be more efficient. But for now, for my art, I just wanted to do it exactly how I envisioned it, and I couldn't have any extra hands in the pot. So
yeah. Like, you don't want someone telling you what to do. You're like, if my name's going to be on my photos and my songs, then like, let this be all me.
Especially if I'm the only one paying.
Yeah. You're like, I'm investing a lot of money into this project. Like,
Yes.
it needs to be exactly how I want it.
Exactly. And it came out exactly how I envisioned it. So I'm happy about it.
Yes. Oh, I love the album. It is so
Thank you.
Kudos to you. So let's talk about this album. Let's break it down. We're just gonna go track by track. Cool?
Yeah, let's do it.
Beautiful. So track 1 is an interlude. Do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the interlude?
So the interlude is basically a recording of me when I was like 9 years old, and I had a karaoke machine in my room that my parents got me, and I used to record myself on cassette tapes. Mm-hmm. And the karaoke machine, I don't want to just talk too much, but basically the karaoke machine had 2 different tape players. So if you switched out the tapes and kept switching them, you can layer vocals. This is before I knew about recording. I used to do it on tapes. So I used to record myself harmonizing and doing that whole thing. So I found this tape, and I'm like, dang, this would be a good interlude, because it'll really show that I've been doing it for a long time, and you know, I've always wanted to do this. And even the fact that a 9-year-old can understand stacking vocals that young,
yeah,
looking back, I'm like, wow, like this is really my destiny. That's how I know that I'm on the right track, because I've been doing it. That was years ago, and of course, I was inspired by different groups, Boyz II Men, Destiny's Child, Take 6, everybody who harmonized. that was what my ear gravitated to. So Destiny's Child was really great at harmonizing. They always did that 3-part harmony, and that's literally the base of like how I harmonize. So so listening to them, DeBarge, my mom would play old school DeBarge and the Jacksons, and you know, just different artists who harmonize, and like I said, Boyz II Men. So that's how that intro came about, because I was copying. That was my own arrangement of that song as well at 9. So
crazy.
yeah, it's crazy. So that's the intro. That's the intro, and then it goes into, I don't want to take over the interview, but then it goes into Rain Down. And the reason why I put that Rain Down after is because Rain Down is all about taking your power back. Because as an artist, sometimes we're so vulnerable, we give our power away a lot of times, and we put our value in the hands of other people. Like I was talking about, like the different labels and stuff like that. And you know, different people you look up to, and you're like, dang, I want to do this, so I'm going to give you my power. But Rain Down is all about getting that power back and basically owning it.
Definitely. Oh, love it. So let's get into track 3, Boolin', I'm Ready.
Yes. So Boolin' I'm Ready was the first song that I recorded for this project. It's produced by myself and the incredible Eric Hudson, who did most of the album. And basically it's just a cool, you know, vibey track. It's very reminiscent of something that Babyface would write, you know, and that was our inspiration. It's just getting back to that classicness. Around the time, there was a song called Boot Up out at the time, and we were just inspired by that, because it's like, you know, you don't really need to say too much. Sometimes you just need to vibe it out. So I'm like, that was kind of like the inspiration for, well, that's where we kind of got the idea. And we wrote the song, and we didn't even have Boolin', the phrase, yet. We were just like vibing on just like the hook, and we just didn't know what to say. So my producer Eric Hudson called another artist, Kevin Michael, who a lot of you may know, who's an incredible singer, incredible artist, and he just recorded it and sent it back. He was like, this is what you should say. And that's how that came about.
Awesome. And I love that you drew inspiration by one of the greats, Babyface.
Exactly. Because those songs were so classic. And, you know, at any time you could always say, can we talk? It's just so simple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what we wanted to do with that.
Yeah. I miss the Babyface era of music.
Me too, trust me. And hopefully soon I'll be able to work with him someday. I met him before. I've auditioned for him before, so he kind of knows who I am a little bit. So, you know, when I circle back around, I'm like, Uncle Kenny.
Wait, back up. How did you meet him?
So actually, before I did the 4, I auditioned to go on tour with him as a background singer.
Cool.
Yes, which was so random. And basically it was either that or the 4. So I had to make a decision.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me just do the 4, because it's going to get more eyes, and, you know, I'll be seen by the next generation, and, you know, but, you know, it was a toss up with that. So, yeah.
But he did want you.
Yeah, he probably did. So, you know what? I'm circling back. Uncle Kenny, if you're out there, I'm trying to work ASAP. I'm a songwriter as well.
Oh, let's do it. I need to see this collab between the two of you guys.
I know. He's working with one of my favorite artists right now, Lucky Day.
Yeah.
And they have a record out, and I'm like, dang, I need one. So now that I see him working with the current artist, I know that there's a chance that I'll get in with Babyface Evans.
Blair, put it on your whiteboard. It's happening.
It's on my vision board, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on my vision board.
I love it. Track 4, Flight.
Okay, so track 4 is Flight. That's my favorite song on the album. It's my favorite song to sing. I'm not singing it today, but it's my favorite, absolute favorite song. This song took literally 20 minutes to write. It was one of those that just came so effortlessly. So that was also produced by Eric Hudson. written by myself, and it's just a vibe. It just reminds you of that Boyz II Men easygoing vocals, like I explained to you before. It's like a mashup between all kind of different songs that I grew up listening to. So that's my favorite song on the album. So, and that's the next single actually. So, and
Yeah.
that, even though it's out already, it's going to be
Yes.
released as a single on June 3rd.
Amazing. So, why is that your favorite song on the album?
I think it's my favorite song because it just shows that's literally like my style. Like if I can like express to you guys what songs I like to sing like the most and what I like to listen to from other artists, that's the vibe. Like, so that's why that's my favorite. It's just easy going. It's not too much going on, and I really got a chance to show off my vocal arrangements on
Mhm.
this song. And that's one of my favorite things to do is layer vocals and stack and come up with different ideas and put little trinkets here and there. So that's why that's my favorite. It's my favorite vocally too on the album.
Love that. And you've been layering vocals since you were 9 years old, so it only makes sense that like you continue to do so.
Yes, yes, yes. I love doing that. That's my favorite part of the process.
Very cool. Track 5 is another interlude.
So track 5 is another interlude to track 6, which is "Be Alone,"
Mhm.
which is a fan favorite. It's actually, I think, maybe the second or third song I recorded for this project.
Yeah.
It's inspired. So the original version of this song you guys haven't heard. I might share it a little later in the future, but it was inspired by the song called "Stay With Me" by DeBarge,
Mhm.
which a lot of you know because it was sampled so many times in Biggie's "One More Chance" and Ashanti's "Foolish," and whenever you hear that comes from that song.
Yeah.
But I always loved the original song. My mom used to play it all the time, and I love the format of the song because it just goes through these waves. So we wrote the song just a piano and vocals, and that's how it sounded at first. But then after listening to the demo, my producer Eric Hudson, he was like, you know what, we need to put the Biggie beat kind of style behind this and make
Yeah.
it real 90s and make it real vibey. So at first I was like, no, I don't like that. I mean, I like it, but I was like, I like this song stripped down and very, And he was like, no, I'm telling you, put the beat behind it. So he put the beat behind it. Then after listening to it a few times, I was like, wait, let me chop up the intro like Puffy would do it. The dun 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 dun. I'm like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. So that's what the song became, is what you guys hear, and that's gonna be a single too. And I'm gonna be shooting a video to that. I'm putting it out there that I'm gonna be doing the video for that soon. So yes.
Yeah. So I was on Spotify one day listening to my Discover Weekly, and there you are, Blair.
Yes, Discover Weekly.
Be Alone came up with my Discover Weekly. I was like, whoo, who is this? And that's when I reached out to you because I was like, Blair, this song, like you said, is a fan favorite. It is such a cool, fun, DeBarge, like Notorious B.I.G. vibe going. I love it.
Right.
I can't wait to see the music video. That'll be amazing.
I'm trying to get it together. I'm trying to organize it right now and get everything set in stone. But yeah, keep supporting because that helps.
Yes. And just to let you know that Spotify is pushing out your music.
Thank you, Spotify. Thank you, Spotify. Shout out to Spotify.
Yes, Spotify. Thank you. All right. Track 7, Care for Me.
All right, Care for Me. That was actually one of the last songs I recorded, actually. And that song was almost not here.
Oh,
It's a
wow.
long story. I'm gonna tell it one day. I'm not gonna tell it today, but I'm gonna tell it one day. But basically, I was feeling like that, and basically, I got the track really quick. The track took literally 15 minutes to make,
Mm-hmm.
and I took it home. I wrote the song, and I was like, "Yo, this reminds me of like when Alicia Keys first dropped Fallen, like came out of nowhere." And I'm like, for a male R&B artist, we have not had a power ballad like that in a long time. It's been years. I think the
Yep.
last one probably came from Usher. So, and that was probably Burn, and it's been a minute. So I wanted to do that specifically because I'm like, this is something that the next generation hasn't heard yet
Mm-hmm.
from an artist. So I basically wanted to strip it down and just give vocals and give arrangements. And, you know, I took it back and then I added the strings at the end. I wanted it really dramatic. And one day I'm going to perform that on the Grammys. So,
Yes,
yes,
it is happening, Blair. It's happening.
yes, yes. And that was my first single off this project because I wanted to start with that. Before I got into everything else, I wanted to start with, look, this is what the music has been missing for a while. So that's what I wanted to give.
Yes. And thank you for bringing it back.
Yes, I'm trying to. I'm trying to.
I truly, I appreciate that classic R&B soulful powerhouse. Like, I love the album, Blair. I really,
Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much.
of course. All right, track 8, Come With Me.
Come with me. Okay, so Come With Me was a song that I didn't like at first. I
Oh,
didn't like it. So we were doing the track, even though I wrote it. So we were doing the track, and I was just like, this is not what I'm feeling. This is not how I'm feeling today. You know, in the studio. And quick side story, I spent a lot of budget on studio time.
mhm.
And so a lot of these songs were recorded and written on the spot. So when we would go to the studio, you know, we would only have these blocks. Like, you only got 10 hours to produce and record vocals and write the song. So a lot of this stuff on this album was freestyle, like Flight, Boolin, like literally we only spent a few moments doing this. So our producer made the track, then I would just freestyle some stuff, and then eventually it just all gelled together. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of like this. This is like my Michael Jackson, Michael Janet type vibe. And when I'm performing, this would be a great song to perform. So eventually I started liking it, and I'm like, okay, now I really like it. So I can't wait to do that one live because I have some ideas for that.
Yeah. And I love how you said that kind of all these songs, like you had to do the studio time and then you were just trying to like bang it out real quick.
Literally, like all these songs, literally everything was like a freestyle basically. I would record everything and get the bass down, everything recorded, and then during the finishing touches of the album, I went back and added more vocals or took some stuff out or fixed certain things. But the base of this album was recorded on the spot, and I actually put out a short documentary on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Blair Perkins, or you can search me Blair Perkins on YouTube, and you guys can kind of see the behind the scenes of me creating this album and how we did it. And it's basically, I just set up a camera in the studio and I just press record, and that's what you guys see on the documentary. So you get to see like the creative process.
Yeah. I think the creative process is so cool to see how an artist works because, you know, just to see what happens when you go in the studio and how you're vibing with other people in the studio. And
Yeah.
and something gets switched up and then,
Mm-hmm.
take the volume down, put the bass up. Like all that is so cool to really watch.
Yeah. And I'm really excited about that because I always wanted to do like a document. I grew up watching documentaries like that. So I'm like, now I got my own.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So what other documentaries do you like?
I like behind the scenes of like performances and stuff because that's my true love is performing. So I
Yeah.
like to see what goes behind the production of a tour or, you know, a big performance. That's what I like to see the most. And then studio is like my second favorite thing to do, but
Mm-hmm.
performing is my first. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I like to watch. And you know,
Yeah. I'm also a huge documentary fan as well. If you haven't already, you definitely need to see the Quincy Jones documentary.
I've seen that. I've seen it. Yeah, I watch all that stuff. I watch all that stuff. So
Okay.
amazing.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the David Foster one.
Have I seen the David? I think I've seen the David Foster one. It's been a
Have you?
minute though. I think
Yeah.
it's been a minute. Okay, yeah, I think I have. I need
Yeah.
to refresh that. But yeah, I think I have seen that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like anything that Netflix drops as a documentary. I watch the one about the background singers.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything that's musical and like behind the scenes, I always make sure I watch it.
Yeah, it's cool because then it's like oh, I didn't know that about this specific artist or this person,
Right.
that person. It's like, it's cool to kind of just know the inner workings of their life and how they got to where they are. And I was like,
Right.
you probably did see both of those documentaries, but I just wanted to throw it out there for people who are not watching, who love music and love documentaries.
Yeah. And the Kanye one too recently.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with that one. I loved watching that because that's literally, it's very similar to my story.
Yeah.
Like, you're in the label, you're trying to prove yourself, and if you watch that documentary, he's playing all those hits that were on his first album. He's playing it to people, and they're like, and I'm like, that goes to show you that if you just listen to the artist,
Right.
that you guys will get what you want. Label, you'll get your money. Don't relax. Let the artist do their job.
Yes.
So,
I know.
yeah.
I hate how labels try to kind of like dim artists shine, because it's like, right, like Kanye West, like that first album when he came out, iconic. And for labels to just be like, no, we don't like that, we don't like that, and you're like, wait, that was like one of his best pieces of work.
Right, and it's just still music you listen to today. And you're watching a documentary, he's like, oh, I'm playing It All Falls Down just for the label today. I don't have a deal, but this is going to be on my album. And they're just like, And just to think of how big that song became.
Right.
So that just goes to show you got to let the artists do what they do. Because we have visions as artists. We have it all in our minds. We just need the support and the backing. And then we will be able to bring the world something new and fresh.
Mm-hmm. Kind of reminds me of like a Silk Sonic, right? Like when Silk Sonic came
Exactly.
And I was like, look at those two iconic musicians. They came together. I'm like, wait, now they're like winning awards and they're opening award shows. I'm like, there were probably people that didn't like that about them, but they, you know, they're obviously well respected. Anderson and Bruno Mars. I'm so happy though that came to the light and so many people are able to hear Silk Sonic. Like, they're amazing.
Amazing. Yes, amazing. And they've been doing it for a long time too, even before they really got their true shine. So
yeah. Okay, where do we leave off? Track 9, Power Love.
Power Love is like my second favorite song on the album. Because I'll, scrolling through TikTok and Instagram, you always see like these power couples, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, there's not a song for power couples.
Right.
So I'm like looking through my library. I'm like, I don't hear any songs about like a power couple. So let me write one. So that's how that came about. It's produced by Bongo, by the way, who's done a lot of amazing things recently. The new Jasmine Sullivan. He's doing like the Power intro, the theme song for Power. He's done just all my new favorite stuff, basically, he does. I reached out to him during the pandemic, actually. And I'm like, look, this is how much money I got. I need 3 more songs for my album to complete it. Yeah. And he was down to do it. And the other 2 tracks that I did with him, we produced together. But this one, he already had the track already created. And it was just one of the ones he submitted. And I listened to it, I'm like, this has a very R&B yet pop feel. Let me dive into this. And before I knew it, Power Love was there. And I cannot wait to perform that one as well.
Heck yeah. So amazing. Yeah. I love that you reached out to him during the pandemic and you're like, hey, let's make it happen.
Yeah, because I already had most of the album done. I just needed 3 more songs. So I'm like, okay, I need a different flavor. I didn't want to work with the same producer the entire album. I want to give a different take on my sound. So I'm glad I did. It's became one of my favorite songs, and I'm really excited. I want to work with him the next project as well.
Amazing. Track 10, Exclusively Yours.
Exclusively Yours. So that song was inspired by Lovers and Friends kind of vibe. Usher, Lil Jon, Ludacris. Yeah. Because that was like my favorite song growing up. So I told my producer, Eric Hudson, I was like, I need something in that vibe, basically, but make it now. I'm like, we don't want to copy. We just want to take the inspiration and the feeling of it. So basically, that was a quick one too. Literally recorded all in one day. I don't even
Mhm.
think I went back and touched this up with vocals. I just recorded it and we just knocked it out in I think about 9 hours,
Oh,
and
wow.
that's what it became. And that's actually a fan favorite, and we'll discuss that one a little later as well. I got some stuff with that coming soon.
Yes.
Yes.
Track 11, Bout It, Bout It.
Bout It, Bout It. So Bout It is my new single. It's all about keeping good energy around you, having a tight circle, and basically it's very self-explanatory. It starts off saying, they didn't want to give me my roses, I had to grow them for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's about putting the work in and just keeping good energy around you. And yeah, it's dedicated to my agent who is no longer with us, but she was with me ever since I was a child, and she gave me my first, pack of beats to write to, and because of her, I'm the songwriter and arranger that I am. So I'm dedicating this one to her because she was always about it up until her last breath. She was still working and trying to get me stuff. So I appreciate her so much. Love you, Miss Donna. This is for you. And the video for About It actually drops tonight in about 3.5 hours. So I'm excited to share this vibe with me because I started with Care for Me, which is very R&B soulful, giving you just vocals and the passion. But now it's time to go into that summery vibe and give you guys, a little bit of choreography. Nobody's ever seen me dance before. So, and I've always taken dance classes and done that stuff. But, when you're performing behind the screen, which I was on YouTube, you don't really get to showcase that with your audience.
Mm-hmm.
So, now that I'm doing my own thing and I have my own artistry, I can finally share that side and give that to everybody. So I'm excited for everybody to see the video. I love it. So yeah,
Yeah. And in just a few hours, it's going to be released.
it's gonna be worldwide.
Yes, worldwide. So wait, this is the first time and everyone is going to be seeing you dance.
This is the first time everybody is gonna see me actually dance for real. Yes, because because basically my career started, I would do live gigs all the time. Ever since a little kid, I was always doing live performances for people. So
Yeah.
everybody that see me live got to see that side.
Mm-hmm.
But when things took a shift and YouTube became popular, it was all about recording the latest cover. And I'm behind a screen just like this with my microphone, and that's literally all I can give because I'm literally singing the song, so I can't move away the microphone and just go crazy like I want to. Um, and so now that I actually have a music video, I was able to show off my dancing a little bit. And this is just literally, we just scratching the surface a little bit. So yeah.
Yes. Oh, so we're going to see Blair's moves in just a few hours.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. The last track is good.
So the last track is good. I grew up listening to Missy and Timbaland production. One thing Missy always did was she always took an old school track and made it current. And she would always like remake these like oldies that, my parents, my grandparents would play. And then when I would hear it, she would flip it up like just some crazy way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, if you listen to like Monica's So Gone or um, there's so many that she flipped. I can't even think right now, but Missy is famous for that. If you listen to Missy's albums and even the productions she put on other people, she would always flip an oldie and just make it current. So that's exactly what I wanted to do. Her and Kanye West were the inspiration for this song because Kanye does the same thing. He'll like what he did with Tiana Taylor's project. He'll take an oldie and flip it, and they'll
Mm-hmm.
put this new vibe on it. So I wanted to do that, but I wanted to give the essence of like how artists would sing in the 70s, like Michael Jackson. So vocally, that's what I was trying to give you guys was like a Michael Jackson reminiscent. And a lot of people really have gotten that song, and I didn't think people would get it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's already gotten plays out in London. It's on the radio out there, along with Be Alone.
Yeah.
Those two are a fan favorite. So love good, love good.
Yes. And that is your album.
That's my album. Yes.
Yes,
Executive produced.
yes. Guys, if you haven't listened to this album, please go stream it, go buy it. What else can they do
Yes.
for this album, Blair?
Yes. Yes. What was that?
They can stream it, they can buy it.
Yes. 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 It's on everything. Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal. Anywhere you listen to music, it's there. It's on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. It's everywhere.
Awesome. So, Blair, tell us about the music that you've been listening to recently. What are you listening to?
Right now, I'm not really listening to a lot of new music per se, but artists that I'm into heavily right now is Lucky Day that I mentioned before. Love what he's doing. Love Jasmine Sullivan, obviously, just incredible with the vocals and the writing skills. Mainly those two. Mainly those two. Yeah,
Mhm. Very
that's
cool.
basically what I'm listening to right now. That's basically it. Yeah.
Yes.
And Kendrick. And Kendrick. I'm listening to Kendrick tonight.
Yeah, because the Kendrick album is dropping.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited to hear what he been cooking up.
Yes. I mean, everything that he does is so iconic
Yeah.
that, especially after Super Bowl, it was like,
Right.
we need more music.
Right. And I love the fact that he takes time in between projects. I like artists who do that because it gives us a chance to miss you a little bit. And
Right.
you really get a chance to digest the previous project before you just move on to something new.
Yeah.
You really get to live in that moment. So then when you hear that music, you're like, oh, this reminds me of this time in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool that he gives you time between projects because you're like, oh my,
Yeah.
I want more Kendrick. And then like once it's here, you're like, oh, here we go.
Exactly. And I'm telling y'all right now, I don't want to take too much time, but budget,
Right.
Yeah. It's gonna take me a little bit to get to the next project. So I really want y'all to live with this album right now.
Definitely. What's
Yes.
the best advice you've ever been given?
The best advice. Wow. The best advice I've been given, and I think I've been given this a few times by different people, was just to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've gotten that ever since I was little. I always wanted to be with a major label. And, I dream, as artists, we dream about the label we want to be on. And it actually happened for me. The label that I wanted to be on, I was there in person. I seen the logo when the elevator opened, and I met all the top people and my favorite artists on the same label. But it wasn't what I expected at all. It wasn't that. So everybody would always say, why don't you just do it yourself? And I'm glad I finally listened and did it, because now I get to express myself exactly how I want to. And everything is up to me now. And I like that, because it's like, if I don't want to do something, the answer is no.
Exactly.
I love that. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. No. Nope. Nope.
When it comes to artistry, it is okay to say no, because you're like, no, I am living my truth. This is how I'm going to do it.
Exactly.
And I'm going to do it myself, because I think when you do things yourself, you appreciate them more than if somebody else does it for you. You know what I mean?
You really do. You honestly do, because literally I've always been self-sufficient. Like in my life, I recorded my first project that a lot of people have not heard when I was maybe 11. And I recorded it all on my own on the computer. I downloaded like this random, and actually I think the Migos spoke about this same program. They're like, yeah, we downloaded this on the computer. And I'm like, dang, that's the same software I use. It's called Mixcraft. And
Yeah.
I recorded my own little project like on that. Me and my cousins, we recorded it. And so I've been doing this. So now that I have the opportunity and I have the knowledge about the business side of it, I'm like, why don't I just do it myself? I've already done it. You know what I'm saying? I did. So yeah, that's the best advice.
Love that. So Blair, that's all the questions I have for you this evening. But guys, don't go anywhere, because Blair's going to sing for us.
Yes. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay. After all that talking, I might need a little water. One second. Let me. So us vocalists know that when you talk a lot, you gotta get a little moisture in the vocals. So let me spray some of my. All right. So I'm going to perform 2 songs off my album. I'm going to sing Boolin', which is another fan favorite, and I'm going to do the single, About It. Here we go. Hey! Every time you in my dreams, so you already know my name. When I catch you in the street, you throw me off my game. Baby, 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 look what you do to me. Got me going crazy, pretty lady, baby, I'm so weak. You know, yeah. Hey. Cause when I think of you, I can see it's just fooling, baby. Yeah. Hey. A little me, a lot of you. I can see it's just fooling, baby. Hey. Hey. Baby, this ain't nothing new, you see. Every king deserves his queen. Ain't gotta worry about no other girl. It's where I'll be. Baby, 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 I'll go crazy. Trying to find the words to say. I've been thinking about it on a daily. Ooh. Yeah. Cause when I think of you, I can see it's just falling, baby. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A little me, falling, baby. Oh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, I'm ready. Oh, yeah, yeah. And this next one is Bout It. Video dropping tonight. Here we go. They didn't wanna give me no flowers, I had to grow some roses for me. Said a prayer for all of my enemies, cause these haters praying on me. Top down, know they see me coming. Drip so heavy, got me drowning. Over time, I'm gonna shower no apologies. Diamonds on the neck, hey. I don't do it for the flex, hey. And I'm gleaming so bright. Ain't no dimming down the night. I don't do it for the flex. I do it for the miles on my mama legs. Even way it's going up tonight. Can't nobody take my pride. Hey, really bad, yeah. Big man a whore. Big man, yeah. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, if you got it, throw it up if you got it. 2 step if you got it. Do a dance if you got it. Ice grill if you got it. Bust down if you got it. Hey, check if you got it. Everybody talking about it, but you know really about it. Hey, big man, yeah, yeah. Oh, whoa, yeah, yeah. 2 step, yeah. Hey. Hey, Bout It, out tonight. Music video coming tonight. 3 hours.
3 hours, Blair.
3 hours.
Awesome. Thank you.
you.
P. Marsh 68 says, "Oh, my jam."
Thank you so much. It's gonna be really a jam after you see the video, because you know when you see the video, it gives the song new life. So I'm excited about it. Yes.
Yeah, I love
Day Simone in the building.
Yes. because I think music videos are one of those things. You're right. It gives the visual to like what you saw when you wrote.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is one of my best videos to date.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Love
Yeah.
it so much. So Blair, do you have some time for some questions
I
in the
do. Let's do it.
beautiful guys? If you're in the room right now and you have questions for Blair, feel free to put them in the comment section below.
Somebody said, love the CD I love. I have a signed copy for Instagram. Oh, yes. Yes, I know exactly who that is. Let me love that. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
guys have any questions before I go, let me know.
Yes.
I got some
What?
things in the work.
Yes. What can we have? What are we looking forward to? What's coming up the next couple months?
Oh, somebody said, when is the tour? Dave Simone said, when is the tour? Yo, I'm working so hard. Actually had a meeting like a few days ago about that situation. So we'll see what's happening. I know I'm gonna do some spot dates soon, so I'm getting that together. But I mentioned earlier in the interview about Boolin and Exclusively Yours.
Yeah.
I can't give it away yet, but you guys might be hearing that on a very, very popular television show really, really soon.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
guys.
be on the lookout. I think June, July-ish time. So
Oh, that'll be here in just a couple weeks.
exactly. So be on the lookout. If it's, I can't say what show just yet,
Yeah,
but pretty soon I'll be able to talk about it. So just keep following and log on, and you guys will be the first to know.
definitely. Very cool.
Yes.
What does
Thank
success
you.
mean to you?
Um, you know, it used to be just getting a record deal, but it's so much more than that. I think success for me is basically getting to the point where I can create my art freely
Mm-hmm.
with no limitations and bring that art to the stage with no limitations.
Yeah.
That's success for me. And it's not about the money. I literally do it for the art.
Mm-hmm.
I do it for the music and the love of, singing and arranging and producing. So that's my main goal as an artist, is just to get to that height to where I can just click my fingers and this is what we're doing and this is how we're doing it, and there's no restrictions. Because as an artist, there's always restrictions, especially when you're just starting out, because you don't have a big budget. People don't believe in you just yet. So it's really hard to get out exactly what you want to do. So you
Mm-hmm.
got to scratch the surface. And that's really what this album is. Even though this is my debut and I love everything about this project, this is literally just scratching the surface. There's so much more visually and sonically that I want to do that I just wasn't able to do on this particular project, but coming soon.
Yes.
Yes.
Coming soon. Stay tuned. What
Yes.
advice do you give to other young musicians?
I would just say learn the business. I feel like a lot of people told me that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Learn the business, because when you actually learn the business and understand how everything works,
Mm-hmm.
it makes it easier in your mind to do it.
Yeah.
Because when I realized, I'm like, yo, this is all they did. Oh, they registered with this. They turned it into this. They copyrighted here, and they did this. All they're doing is just on a major scale, but it's
Mm-hmm.
the same thing. I
Right.
mean, the only thing that really, like, you know, the only thing that is really your challenge as a new artist and a young artist is money. That's it.
Yeah.
You can have the same talent as the artists on the television, but the only difference is they have the money backing them. That's the only difference. So
Yeah.
once you get that in your mind and you understand how it works, you can create a project and grow from the ground. And that's exactly what I'm doing with this album, is growing from the ground up. I literally started with just a few fans. So, and some of them are in the chat tonight. I see y'all. I appreciate you guys so much. And we're just growing little by little.
Yeah. P.
Yeah.
Marsh, can't wait to see Blair live. Been a fan for years.
I cannot wait to give you live. I can tell you guys this. Well, I shot some acoustic stuff that
Cool.
I'll be releasing, some of the songs off the album, And I did one cover because I know a lot of people are mad at me because I took all my covers off of YouTube.
Yeah.
But I had to focus on being Blair the artist. And so I wanted to take away all the distractions and just really give you guys what I'm trying to give you guys. But I did 3 songs off the album acoustically, and I did one special cover, and I can't wait for y'all to hear it.
Awesome.
Coming soon. We're going to edit it next week. So
very. Blair, do you have any final words for the room?
Just thank you guys for the support. Thank you, Ashley, for having me on this platform. I'm really excited about it. Support the album. I have merch out. Look, I'm messing up. Shop BlairPerkins.com. You can find the merch there. The album is out. Of course, you guys can listen to it anywhere. The About It video is coming out tonight. If you're in California, it'll be 9 p.m. if you're on the west side. What else? Like I said, you guys are gonna hear it on a popular show soon, and I'm hoping that'll help push the album. And if you're in LA, I'm gonna be doing some spot dates this summer.
Very
so cool. I'm working on getting the bands together and everything. We're gonna do it up. Yes.
Yes, guys. Even if you're not in LA, make the trip. Go see Blair.
Yes, make the trip on down.
Yeah, yes, of course. The energy of a live show was so beautiful. So, guys, go to BlairPerkins.com, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok. He's everywhere. Stream the album, buy the album, share it with your friends, and tell Blair what you think. Guys, if you don't already, please make sure to follow Blair Perkins below. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Ashley Live. This is Vibe with Ashley Live, and I interview incredible musicians just like Blair all the time. So give us both a follow. Guys, support good music. Stream Blair's music. Give him a follow. And tell a friend.
Yes, please.
Of course. Blair, thanks so much for spending your evening with us. And please come back anytime you want to talk music or you have stuff to promote. This has been so much fun.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for having me.
You're so welcome. Have a great night. See you soon.
You too. Appreciate you.